Hey guys, welcome back. So this is going to be 5 mistakes and 5 reasons why your hair is not growing, not retaining length, okay? Because those are two things at the same time, but they're a little bit different. Just because when your hair is growing, it might not be looking longer because you're not retaining the length. Your hair might be growing, but just as fast as your hair is growing, it could be breaking off. So therefore, it seems like your hair is not growing even though it is. So these are going to be 5 simple tips and tricks that you can use to make sure that your hair not only grows healthy, and that it retains length. But before we do that, I just wanted to point out that we are a natural hair care line and we do sell products. So if you want your hair to be shining, healthy, and you want a product that works for all heads in the household, then please, and is natural and is organic, then please click the link below or visit us at WeUNIK Cosmetics and we'll get you all the way together because all hair is good hair, baby. All right, so boom, let's get into it. So the first tip that I would say today is if you do not cover your hair at night with a bonnet, you are up as creek without a paddle. Long story short, a satin pillowcase is a backup to your bonnet. A satin scarf or a silk, whatever, satin scarf is backup to your bonnet. You need to use a bonnet when you sleep. Not only when you sleep, but also when you lay your head anywhere that's a fabric. You might be laying on the couch, you might be laying on a pillow. Put your bonnet on. Okay, because you got to think about it like there's friction, especially when you're sleeping. Don't be lazy. Put your bonnet on and buy an extra bonnet in case your bonnet gets lost. But if your hair is doing like this all night long, your hair is rubbing up against fabric, it's going to lose moisture and it's going to break and it's going to cause split ends. So it is vital that you wear your bonnet, not only for sleeping, but literally when you lay your head anywhere, you need to have your bonnet on because any fabric like cotton, linen, it will absorb the moisture out of your hair. That's why people be leaving like grease stains and stuff sometimes. But it can take the moisture out of your hair and put it onto something else, and it dries your hair out. And there's still friction because no one is just laying like this. When you lay down, you're still moving, you're still kind of moving around. And you have to also think about like during the day, your hair is rubbing up against your clothes. Your hair is rubbing up against your hat in the winter. Your hair is rubbing up against the chair. That's why I usually have my hair in the front, just because there's less friction. It's still happening, but it's less than if it was behind me and I'm laying back like this. So it's very, very, very important that if you're looking to retain length and grow your hair healthy and long and retain length, that you need to make sure that you keep your bonnet on as much as possible. We like where I'm at, like as soon as we walk in the house, the bonnet comes on because that way there's no room for error in that regard. Like if you lay down, your bonnet's on, okay? We'll get into bonnet selection in another video because not all bonnets are made the same. So stay tuned, subscribe, comment below, and because sometimes like I am a rough sleeper, especially when I was younger. So I would wake up and my bonnet would be on the floor or next door, not even in the house anymore. My bonnet done flew away and gone forever. The leprechaun stole it or something. I don't know. But comment below if you have any like mysterious bonnet stories. But like I said, not all bonnets are made the same. So stay tuned for another episode, another video, and then I'll tell you like a little bit of tips and tricks on how to pick a good bonnet. All right. Second thing is not using the proper products. You're like, is she about to sell us WeUNIK again? Yes, okay, because the products are just that great, okay? So yes, I'm going to promote it again, but not using the proper products does contribute to lack of hair growth, breakage and not having a healthy scalp, not having healthy hair. It just is what it is. If you're using like oils with a whole bunch of chemicals and parabens and just nasty stuff, it's only going to dry your hair out. There have been so many times, especially when I was earlier on in my journey, and I mentioned this in another video, that when you like sometimes it feels like you're not using enough products. So you think, okay, let me use more, let me use more, let me use more, but my hair is still dry. It's because that product is drying your hair out. There's no reason why you can't use a dime size of oil on a section of your hair and it doesn't feel softer. It doesn't feel moisturized. And the thing is, what happens with good quality products like ours is the more you use it, the softer your hair becomes down the line. I don't want to say the less you'll have to use, because you always have to apply product, but like the less severe your hair is. Kind of like when your lips are super chapped, and like if you've ever used Burt's Bees, you know, like when your lips are super chapped, especially the old formula, it used to burn your lips. And then once your lips got healed and they were no longer chapped, then it didn't burn anymore. It was fine. And your lips just get more and more moisturized as you use the product. A good quality hair product will do that with your hair. You might start out dry, but the more you use the product over time, it improves. But there are some products that the more you use it, your hair still looks the same or it looks even worse. That is a sign that that product is not for you. All products are not for everybody except for ours, okay? But a lot of products are not for everyone, and that's okay. And then there are some products that work universally, which is even better. But the thing is, like, if you notice that your hair, the quality of your hair is not improving, you might want to revisit the products that you're using and give WeUNIK Cosmetics a try. Okay, you can even get a sample size for as little as $5, by the way. You can get a sample size for $5 to test it out. And then once you test it out, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, y'all was right. I should have been hopped on this thing. It's just what it is. The third thing is washing your hair too much. With natural hair, you do not have to wash your hair every single week. You don't even have to really wash your hair every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. You can get away with washing your hair every month, or maybe bi-weekly, skip a month, every 2 months, whatever works for you. But what I've noticed in my personal experience is that when I have dirtier hair, my hair grows healthier. Like if my scalp, I get like dandruff and stuff. It is what it is. There's nothing wrong with dandruff. When I get dandruff, I notice that my hair grows faster. My skin, sorry, there's someone around. My hair grows faster, my hair is healthier, and overall my scalp is happier when my hair is dirtier. I noticed that when I was on like a strict regimen, I gotta wash my hair at 7:00 p.m. every single Sunday, and then after that I gotta do this and do that, and like when I had a really strict regimen, I noticed that it was stressful and my hair was not growing. It was just not as healthy as it is now. So I say that you do not have to wash your hair all the time. And that goes for people of any kind of hair texture. You don't have to wash your hair every week. You don't have to wash your hair every 2 weeks. Do what works for you. Skip a couple of weeks and see what happens with your hair. I'm not saying not to rinse your hair. I'm not saying not to co-wash. I'm not saying not to deep condition. You just don't have to wash your hair all the time with shampoo. It's like a running joke in like colorful households that like you use 4 bottles of conditioner to every 1 shampoo. And sometimes that's even more. You might use 6 or 7 conditioners and still have the 1 shampoo, because not only do you use it less, but you also use less of it when you actually do use it. And you use like way more conditioner than you use of shampoo. So it's just one of those things. And then there's methods to the madness of shampooing, but that's a whole nother video. So just another tip. 4th tip is trimming your hair too often. I do not prescribe to the regimen of trimming your hair every 6 weeks. Granted, my ends should be trimmed. I'm not even gonna hold you, but I'm probably not gonna trim them for a minute. And that's just me. But I do not prescribe to the narrative that you have to trim your hair every 6 weeks or every couple of months, because if you trim your hair that much, first of all, the ends are gonna turn into the ends again, and your hair is not gonna grow. You're gonna be stuck at the same length because you're always trimming the new growth. If you're stuck at a certain hair level, let your hair grow out a little bit and then trim it. But, I don't know anybody that has really, really long hair, really, really long, healthy hair that trims their hair every like clockwork. Now, some people might do that. If that's what you do, that's on you, but I've not known it to work. In fact, when I was trimming my hair all the time, my hair was stuck at like this length. And that was like when I was in like college and stuff, because I was cheering. So I had to have my hair straight all the time. And like I was like trimming my hair because it needed to look a certain way. But also when your hair is natural and you're doing mostly natural styles, you don't like, this is so bad. People are going to be like, what? But like when your hair is natural, you don't really even care what the ends are like, because you're wearing your hair natural anyway. So you don't even know what the ends look like. So it really doesn't matter. So, I don't prescribe to that narrative, but do you, boo-boo? All right. The last tip, and be sure that you comment below, okay? Before I give you this last tip, I got to do what I got to do. Make sure that you comment. Let me know what tip resonated the most with you. And like, do you agree? Do you cut your hair or trim your hair all the time, like on a regimented schedule? Or have you noticed, like what I said, like when your hair is in a natural style, you don't really give a F how the ends look. And like me, I rarely straighten my hair, but when I do, I put it like waves or something. So it really doesn't make a difference how the ends look. Now, if my ends was walking around beating up my neck or something, then I would, cut it or trim it. But like, the rules are not ruling. You know what I'm saying? You have to discover what works for you. All right. The final tip is putting in too many quote unquote protective styles. Now, when I say that, I mean doing straight braid outs all the time, doing straight twists, because those are manipulation styles. Now, I'm not saying, because like it's one thing if you do your braid out at the beginning of the week and you allow your hair to do what it does into transition, because people get married to the fact that your hair has to look silky right. It has to be just perfect. But with natural hair, part of the beauty is the fact that when you do your braid out at the beginning of the week, it looks different towards the end of the week. It gets bigger. It's more luscious. It's more afro-y, it's more wild, but that's part of the joy. You have to learn how to enjoy those moments, because the more you manipulate your hair, the more you're going to cause damage to it. So if you're combing your hair and detangling your hair out every single day to put it back in those braids so that it can be just the perfect braid out, you are going to cause damage. Also, with protective styling, if you're always having knotless braids, you're always doing Senegalese twists, you're always adding some additional hair, not only is your hair going to suffer, but your hairline's going to be like pushed back behind your ears. You're going to look like a clown. Now, you can grow your edges back with some WeUNIK cosmetics. You can hit us up, because I used to have edge issues too. But when you're always braiding, always pulling on the hair, this is gonna come out. And like when you get like really, really tight braids, and then around the perimeter of your hair, there are those little like pimple things. That is your hair follicle closing. My cousin, I remember one time she was like, when your hair does that, it means that your hair is growing. No, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. It does not mean that it's, because she said it means that your hair is being pulled from the scalp, so it's going to grow faster. That's not what it means. It means that your hair is too dang on tight, and now the hair follicle is like trying to defend itself, and likely it's gonna heal over, and it's not gonna grow hair again. So it does. That's why their hairline recedes, because those little bubbles and their hair is being literally yanked out. So it's like a trauma wound. So protective styling is good, but you do not want to always, if you want to grow your hair, you do not want to always have a protective style in. And I think that sometimes those things are tied to lack of self-esteem and lack of love for your natural hair, because your natural hair will get fuzzy after a couple of days, and that's okay. Your natural hair, your afro will puff up, and that's okay. But if you are trying to grow your hair, you need to do low manipulation styles that will last you at least 1 week. And this is a bonus, okay? Don't say I never gave you nothing. when your hair is in those braids, you want to put extra product in beforehand because your hair is going to be tied up. Like if like a braid, like knotless braids, or those kinds of styles, you want to put extra product in at the beginning while your hair is being done. And you want to consistently oil your scalp, grease your scalp, put some stuff in your braids consistently, or your hair will dry up and can even mat in those braids. And don't leave your braids in for no 6 months. I would say like the longest I leave braids in might be like a month and a half or something like that. But my hair frizzes up super fast, and then my braids start looking real weird. So for me, as soon as the braids start looking like, oh, you need to take them out, I took them out a week before, okay? Because me and hair, it just is what it is. But you need to make sure that even if your hair is in braids or in twist or whatever, that you are still moisturizing your hair, or else you're gonna have a big problem when it's time to take your hair out. Okay, so those were 5 tips that keep your hair from growing, keep you from retaining length. I hope that this helps. Let me know what you got from this video. Please check out our products. You can try the sample size for as little as $5, and I'm telling you, once you get on that WeUNIK cosmetic, you ain't going back. Okay, you feel me? All right, stay tuned for next time. Be sure to like this video, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.